welcome. You're watching Business Today TV. I'm Sakshi Batra and this is Market Today, a show where we'll help you understand the latest trends from the D Street, starting from the benchmark index move, sectoral action, and all the stocks that are buzzing the most in trade. We'll also be keeping our focus on the defense space, especially all those aerospace and defense stocks that have come into focus amid Chandrayaan-3's success that we witnessed and yesterday, and history being created yesterday. So what kind of opportunities exist for you if you're a long-term investor? Is this a space that should be on your radar? We'll get you expert views on that. But first up, a quick check on the markets right now. 19,457 currently on the Nifty, flattish to a positive momentum on the benchmark Nifty index. The Sensex also about 50 points higher in trade at 65,483. When we look below the surface, especially on the broader market space, the Nifty mid-cap 100 and the small-cap 100 index, you will find that the mid-caps are doing slightly better, 0.5% of gains coming in, and definitely all-time high levels coming in on the Nifty mid-cap 100 index. That continues to see sharp gains coming in. And the small cap 100 index is now inching very, very close to its all-time high levels again. 0.4% of an uptick and 12,006 levels coming in on the Nifty mid-cap index. Now, barring the oil and gas and the healthcare index, sectorally, if you see, all the other sectors are up into the green, led by, of course, the broader markets, and then the realty space is buzzing sharply in trade today, 1% higher in trade, followed by gains in the IT space, in the private banking space. You have FMCG also that's soaring sharply in trade as well. Among the stocks that are in focus, again, you're seeing Adani Group stocks buzzing in trade today. Adani Enterprises has seen some recovery after yesterday's sell-off, so 2.2% higher in trade. Adani Ports is up by about 1%. Asian Paints, Axis Bank, Bajaj Auto, Bajaj Twins. These are the kind of stocks that are buzzing the most in trade. And of course, apart from this, we will be discussing the defense space, like I said. But let's introduce our guest to you. Mr. Hemang Jani joins in, a well-known market expert, and you've heard him multiple times on our channel. Welcome, Mr. Jani, and thank you so much for taking the time out. First up, your quick take on the markets right now. We've been seeing the benchmarks really on the Nifty and the Nifty Bank both trading in a range over the last couple of weeks right here. Of course, some of the pockets below the surface are showing a lot of momentum. How does one, as an average Indian investor, really approach the markets right now?
Good afternoon. Thanks for having me. We've seen some consolidation in the market in the past few weeks, and what is very interesting to note is that if the global setup is turning a bit better, we're seeing incrementally positive news flow from the technology side. And despite the 10-year bonds going above 4%, market in US is holding out well, which is good for emerging markets like India. Secondly, banking index and banking stocks, after underperforming for a brief period, are showing far more resilience, stability, and we think that that's a good sign because the earnings season is over, and by and large, the numbers were pretty good, particularly from banking, auto, and pockets. So those are the two positive takeaways, and the broader market continues to have its own, stock-specific, theme-based momentum, which is there, be it defense, Chandrayaan, mid-cap pharma, power names. So you have a lot of action over there. So overall, I think we should be, positively biased and look out for stock-specific opportunities.
Stock-specific opportunities is better to look at in the current market setup. So we'll scout for some stocks when we talk about Chandrayaan-3. That's going to be our key focus. We all remember that India has conquered the moon now, as ISRO's Chandrayaan-3 mission has ended in a success after the soft landing on the lunar surface. India has become the 4th country to achieve this historic feat of the landing on the lunar surface and the first to land on moon's south polar region, marking a giant leap for the country and the economy as a whole. And this achievement has now put the spotlight on several listed companies that have somehow or the other contributed to the space missions and Chandrayaan-3 mission at various stages of its production as well. And we've been seeing a lot of movement in all of these stocks as well. And you can see these wonderful shots. Good to be reminded of the historic moment we all witnessed yesterday at around 6 p.m. And just as the precision that ISRO scientists had pre-plan, it has happened just at the same level as well. Now, as per the compiled data by Bloomberg News, they mentioned that 13 key companies related to the space sector, which have been supplying equipments from electronic components to metal gears, they've added more than $2.5 billion in market value in the recent run-up as well. So, Mr. Jani, first of all, I wanted to understand from you, what do you think of the stocks that are reaching for the sky with Chandrayaan-3 success? And after this recent move, do you think that this is just a sentimental booster, or do you think this rally can really be extended if somebody has a very long-term view? Because Prime Minister Modi yesterday mentioned that sky is not the limit for us, and we are going to be, after the moonshot, looking at several other moon missions and also other space missions. The ISRO has also pointed out it has set sight on the Sun, Venus, Mars, and even Jupiter, like Prime Minister Modi mentioned. So, do you think that this move can be extended going forward?
While Sakshi, this entire event is big for everybody, and globally also there is a lot of appreciation, and we feel very proud for the way the entire mission has ended so successfully and at a lower cost, and that definitely brings the focus in terms of what kind of additional initiatives ISRO will undertake, and what more can be done, and whether other global companies would take approach us for carrying out such projects. So that is surely one aspect. Other thing that I want to highlight is that one should not really do certain investment or strategies only basis the Chandrayaan success, etc., because typically you might see certain momentum and certain stocks moving because of that, but at the end of the day, investment is a very different ball game which requires a different perspective. So my suggestion and advice would be to look out for the names which are anyway doing well. So for example, L&T played an important role in the launch of Chandrayaan, and is anyway doing well because of the defense exposure, because of the kind of work that they are doing on the other parts like hydrocarbon and the construction, etc. So that would be one company to look at. Even BHAL has played an important role because the batteries were supplied, for Chandrayaan. And we are seeing a very significant turnaround in the cap good space, the power space. So BHAL would be a big beneficiary of that. So one should surely look out for that. Some of the smaller companies like MTR Technology, which has played some role, Mithani, we could see some momentum, but I would not recommend people to go and chase these smaller names because it's not very clear as to how things are going to shape up in terms of order inflow profitability for these companies.
Correct. I'm glad that you mentioned some of the names, because they've actually shown not just a momentum in the last few sessions and the session in which we did see momentum on the Chandrayaan-3 in yesterday's trading session, that is, but even on a year-to-date basis, many of these stocks have actually performed like 40, 50%, even 60, 65% surge. They've already given in the last 6 months odd or so. Centum Electronics, for example, that's shown a continuous move in the last few trading sessions. Even today, it's up by about 8%. It's already shown a 25% rally this week. Shares of Avantel, which is a satellite communication provider, it's jumped 23% this week. Paras Defense, 14% up this week, but 60% up in the last 6 months. MTR Technologies, like you rightly pointed out, it's already up about 8% today, but about 50%, 47% surge on a year-to-date basis. HAL, which actually manufactured the lander module Vikram of Chandrayaan-3, has rallied about 3.5%, 52-week high levels, but 60% up in the last 6 months. L&T, Mishra Dhatu Nigam, BHEL you mentioned clearly, Walchand Nagar Industries, BEL, several of these companies have had some of the other part to play. Would you really recommend investors to now first let the momentum settle down, the sentiment cool off, and then look at fair valuations and then look at an entry point?
Yeah, so my advice would be that the PSU as a theme, the defense, the railways, that is really catching up in a big way. There's a certain degree of visibility because of the government commitment to reforms and the order inflows that we are witnessing. Also, typically ahead of the elections, you would expect more focus coming back onto certain PSUs. So from that perspective, the defense stroke railway theme is going to do well. and we should really keep our focus on names like Bharat Forge, L&T, Bharat Electronics, BHEL. As I said, the power as a theme is really catching up pretty well. So these names continue to look good. And if there is any consolidation, or if you see a bad day in the market where the stocks have corrected, let's say 3 to 5%, that would be a great time to enter into it. And we should wait for some stability on these specific Chandrayaan stocks like MTAR or Paras Defense or Vidhani, because they, as you also pointed out, they've already gone up quite a lot. So this is not the time to really enter at this point.
Got that. I'm glad you pointed out these names. If you could share with us the pecking order in which you prefer all of these and some target prices for the long term for all the investors to get a clearer idea if one has to really enter in a staggered fashion after the momentum really cools off, then which are the top picks that you'd want to share?
I would go with some of the large cap names like Bharat Forge, where I am looking at a target of about 1150 from a 12-month perspective. Other one would be BHEL. I think BHEL is quoting at around 102, 103. One can expect about 130 kind of a price target over a 12-month period. Also, Bharat Electronics, which has done pretty well and is actually biggest beneficiary of the defense focus and the kind of geopolitical issues that we are grappling with because of the China around us. So Bharat Electronics can give you about 18-20% kind of an upside. So 160, 165 could be the possible target that one can look at when it comes to BEL.
Okay, alliteration there. Bharat Forge, BHEL, BEL. All the stocks starting with B, 12 months perspective, and you can actually look for a 15-20% surge on all of these stocks over a long term period in case you still want to invest. These are the topics that Mr. Jani has shared with us. Interestingly, Mr. Jani, your dear friend also, Mr. Sunil Singhania, you would have met him many times as well, when you interact with him. Today he's tweeted that, while Chandrayaan-3 mission was just about 615 odd crore rupees, the companies that have provided equipments for Chandrayaan-3, they've actually seen their market cap soar 50,000 crore rupees. So, while of course on a national level we are seeing it as a big achievement, the average Indian investor who's not directly participated in Chandrayaan may have got this benefit if they had participated in the kind of rally that we have seen. So, going forward from here, what learnings does an Indian investor really get from the growing economy that we are looking at, India's growth story, and of course the defense space as a whole, like we're discussing?
So, Sakshi, the earning season which has got concluded, the Nifty earning has gone up by 32%. But if you look at the Nifty per se, from January till date is barely up about 4 to 5%. So I think we have a lot of catch up to do when it comes to Nifty when we look at the overall earnings picture and the global backdrop. So I would feel that from current levels, from a let's say 1 year perspective, Nifty can easily give about 15 to 18% kind of an upside, and with certain sectors and stocks doing probably even better than that. So overall view on the market continues to be quite positive. And even on the economy side, now that the crude has cooled off, interest rates part in India, recent inflation was not that, but we think that at some point it will stabilize. So I don't see incremental concerns on the interest rate front per se. So the banking and the entire domestic focused, stocks and sectors, one should really keep on radar and look out for investment opportunities.
Okay. Is there any space that you'd like to say that, one should stay away from or be cautious about, any particular stocks or, spaces which you feel that now froth is building up?
I think to some extent, pharma, we have seen a certain amount of momentum, and large part of the earnings positive surprise is already there. So broadly as a theme, I would not be too positive on pharma, but you can always have stock specific opportunities either because of some companies.
Sure. Okay. I think there is some technical glitch. We'll get back to Mr. Jani once we fix that. But pharma is where he believes that slight froth is being built up. So this is a space. Mr. Jani, if you can hear me again, and please continue your answer. You were talking about the pharma space.
Yeah, so I was saying that pharma, we have already seen a good amount of up move, but one should take a stock specific view rather than trying to get too aggressive.
Okay, stock specific view is better to have in this space rather than going as a sectoral approach currently in this space too. All right, many thanks, Mr. Jani, for being with us on the show and discussing all these various topics. And of course, when we talk about Chandrayaan-3, the defense space as a whole, what is the right approach for investors and what opportunities does it throw for a long-term investor in India as well? Always a pleasure having you with us on Business Today TV. Many thanks
Thank
for
you so
being with
much.
us. All right, let's quickly look at the Sensex and the Nifty right now. We're just flattish with a positive bias, 19,448 currently on the Nifty. The Sensex are up by about 30 odd levels, 30 points at 65,463 currently. But we'll continue to track the market momentum for you, and you can stay with us on Business Today TV to track all of it. What you should also do is get ready for our special series, that is Market Masters, where market gurus reveal their investment strategies for a winning portfolio. So you can join us on the coming Monday, that's 28th of August, with Ravi Dharamshi, who's the founder, MD and CIO of Value Quest Investment Advisors, to get his market insights and in-depth market analysis. You can also send us your queries on this number that's flashing on your screens. That's 730-308-0488, and these questions will be taken live.